to the Bhagavad Gita class with my and I'm Radhi Shamdasi leading the Kirtan. Hope you'll like to join in with us tonight. If not, just relax and let the sounds wash over you and feel the peacefulness entering your ear and heart. Krishna
Shishima Jagakuru Siddhaswarupananda Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajika Sutta Sata Shishimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Guru Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhattavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Nitai Goes World Mission Ki Jai. Navadvita Dhamma Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to some of the devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Oma Gina Timurandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantekam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalan Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhi Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Suta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavenbhyo Vaishnavbhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddhaswarupananda Paramahansa Niti Namine Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahansa Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastayate. Before speaking, first I offer my respectful obeisances and the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Jagadguru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahansa Srila Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at his lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada is Gaura Karuna Swarupaya, the mercy manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, and is very dear to Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna Prastayate. And offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who like wish-fulfilling trees, able to fulfill all the desires of the fallen living entities, and are full of compassion upon them. Haribol, Namaste. Thanks for joining us as we explore Bhagavad Gita. And slowly work our way through chapter 2. So last week we discussed chapter 2, text 31, where Krishna said, "Considering your specific duty as a kṣatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles, and so there is no need for hesitation." And those, we pretty much finished this verse last week. There was just a couple of extra points I want to make, which are in Keshava Kashmiri's commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And he says, having established the fact that it is not intelligent to lament about the soul of any living entity, Lord Krishna subsequently responds to Arjuna's supplication of what is his highest good with the word swadharman, or principles of righteousness. So I mentioned last week, Arjuna asked Krishna in chapter 2, text 7, to tell him what is the best good, what is the highest good, what is kṣatriyas for him. And now Keshava Kashmiri is making the point that Krishna is responding by explaining the importance of swadharma, or one's own dharma or religious duty or occupational duty. And as we discussed last week, this varnashrama system is established by Lord Krishna, as he stated in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, text 13. And so the performance of one's swadharma is actually one's duty to Krishna. By following one's duty, one becomes elevated in karma yoga, and then attains knowledge. By performing one's duty, one attains knowledge or jnana, and then one can climb from there or to bhakti yoga, or the highest yoga. And of course one's swadharma, material occupation, is based upon one's status in life, one's ashrama and one's varna. But Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami, he makes the point that everyone's swadharma is to serve Krishna. Right, that this is our, what does he say it? He says there are two types of swadharma. Specific duties. As long as one is not liberated, one has to perform the duties of his particular body in accordance with religious principles in order to achieve liberation. And the second type, when one is liberated, one's swadharma, specific duty, becomes spiritual and is not in the material bodily concept. So liberation means, understanding one's position as spirit soul, and that I'm the dominated part and parcel of the Supreme Soul, and that my function is to render loving service to the Supreme Person. And so this is described by Krishna in chapter 18, text 66, Savadhaman Parityaja. So abandon all varieties of duty or dharma, religion, and Mamekam Saranam Braja. Surrender one-pointedly to me. Aham Tvam Sava Papibhyo Makshiyashyami Masuchaha. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Do not worry or do not fear. So this is one's ultimate swadharma, is to actually abandon one's material swadharma and give up the rules and regulations that surround this varnashrama system, and just engage in doing whatever it is that Krishna wants us to do. And Krishna will protect us from any sinful reactions or negative reactions that come from abandoning our swadharma. But still, at this point in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has not yet made these various points to Arjuna, or this is actually chapter 18, text 66 is actually the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So anyway, so at this point in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling Arjuna that what's best for him is actually to perform his swadharma. And as kṣatriyas puts it, Lord Krishna subsequently responds to Arjuna's supplication of what is his highest good with the word swadharman, or principles of righteousness. Not only considering the nature of the soul, but one's duty is indicated here as well. Lord Krishna is emphasizing this to Arjuna so that he will follow his duty as a kṣatriya and act like a warrior. For to act contrary and hesitate or waver is not in accordance with kṣatriya code according to Vedic scriptures, and such a deviation by Arjuna would be considered an act of unrighteousness. So in other words, it's interesting how kṣatriyas puts it. Not only considering the nature of the soul, but one's duty is indicated here as well. So, up to this point, of course, Krishna's been explaining to Arjuna that the soul does not die. And as a result, as he said in text 30, there's no need for Arjuna to lament for any living being, because the soul is eternal, so no one can be killed. So what is the point of lamentation? But Krishna is, in responding to Arjuna's request that Krishna tell him his highest good, Krishna is not only giving him spiritual enlightenment or information about self-realization, that we're spiritual in essence, but he's also telling Arjuna what is best for him and how to behave. So as we discussed last week, Arjuna had put forward different propositions that, if he engaged in this fight, it would be sinful, and he would dwell always in hell, naraka. And so now Krishna is actually, in this sequence of verses from 231 to 237, is actually sort of turning Arjuna's, or is responding to Arjuna's statements, and in effect turning them on their head by explaining to Arjuna that no, actually, it is sinful for you to not fight. And this is not the highest good for you. This is not what is good for you. What is good for you is to, firstly, understand you're not this body. And secondly, is to understand that you should perform your dharma or your swadharma, that this is in accordance with the Vedic literatures or the Vedas. And so the Vedas themselves are described as the user manual for how to live in this material world. So following the Vedic scriptures is displeasing to the Supreme Lord, is displeasing to Lord Vishnu. So we should perform our duties. We should follow our occupational duties, our tendencies, and we should fulfill the responsibilities of the particular ashrama we are situated in. And this is pleasing to Lord Vishnu, to Krishna. Lord Krishna is emphasizing this to Arjuna so that he will follow his duty as a kṣatriya and act like a warrior. So if one is a warrior, one should act as a warrior. One is a teacher, one should act as a teacher. One is a business person, one should act as a business person. For to act contrary and hesitate or waver is not in accordance with kṣatriya code according to Vedic scriptures, and such a deviation by Arjuna would be considered an act of unrighteousness. So going against dharma or duty or obligation. And so this has bad consequences for the individual and it has bad consequences for society. I mean, if you consider the situation here, if Arjuna didn't fight, this would have a terrible impact upon his family members, Maharaj Yudhishthira and his 4 brothers, Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadev, and Maharaj Yudhishthira, so the 4 brothers, on his wife Draupadi, who is really angry and upset by the shenanigans of Duryodhana, and also on the people of the state, of the kingdom or the empire. That Duryodhana and his cronies are just, they have no sense of dharma. Their only desire is to exploit the kingdom for their own material sense gratification. What then is duty? Righteousness is duty, which is not separated from those who are righteous. So, a person following their dharma is not separate from their duty. It is to be understood that Arjuna's previous lamentations, such as feeling sympathy for his relatives in battle arrayed against him, his body shaking and his hair standing on end, his mind reeling, and his loss of equilibrium are all unfavorable to him in executing his duty, and thus are not appropriate in this situation. So this is an interesting way to look at things. If one is a warrior, then one can't, feel sympathy for the opposing side, or decide I don't want to fight with them, or to then experience symptoms from this that are actually getting in the way of performing your duty, like his body shaking, his hair standing on end, his mind reeling, and dropping his Gandiva bow and ending up just sitting on his chariot with his head in his hands and refusing to fight. These are just a waste of time. Complete and utter waste of time. So we can, in our own personal lives, in our service to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, we should only focus upon what it is he wants done. What does Prabhupada want me to do? Either, he's following his general instructions or his specific instructions, or working on his project, whatever it may be, just in general living my life. We should just do that, and don't let adverse situations distract us from that goal, from our goal of pleasing our spiritual master, from our goal of following the instructions of our spiritual master. If we start sitting around going, oh, it's too hard. No, I don't want to do that. It's inconvenient. Or I have doubts whether that's the right thing to do, or other doubts. Or, no, I just don't want to do it. I'm just not in the mood today. I just don't feel well. I'm so tired. Whatever it may be, whatever our excuse or reason or prevarication to not fulfill our duty of serving our spiritual master, of following his instructions, of making them our life and soul, then these are just a waste of time. They're just wasting time and getting in the way of what you should actually be doing, of what we need to do, of just getting done what it is I need to get done. Sitting around lamenting or feeling sorry for oneself is actually the most, complete and utter waste of time. Right? What is the benefit? What is the benefit here of Arjuna feeling sorry for himself on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and not wanting to fight. Who is benefited by this? No one is benefited. No one. He's just wasting time. Of course, it's of great benefit because Krishna then spoke Bhagavad Gita, so of course, as Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and the Acharyas explain, Arjuna is under the influence of Yogamaya, Krishna's internal potency, not Mahamaya, or the illusory potency. He's, as part of Krishna's pastimes, Arjuna is coming into this situation of lamentation. But regardless of what the source of it is, nonetheless, from a practical point of view, it's a complete and utter waste of time. Right? It's just like, and it has a negative impact on those around him, all the soldiers on his side, on Maharaj Yudhisthira, on his brothers, Bhima, Nakula, and other brothers, Nakula and Sahadev, all the other generals and leaders on his side, and in fact even on the other side. They don't like it. They think this is terrible, as Krishna will explains in subsequent verses, from beginning with 33 through 37. You know, he explains why this is just like, even those on the other side will just think you're a coward, and you know, they'll just be shocked by it and horrified by it, and you know, so there's no benefit to anyone here. It's just a, you know, complete and utter waste of time, right? So you know, if we find ourselves in practical situations in our life, you know, lamenting and feeling sorry for ourselves, for whatever the situation we find ourselves in and how it's not fair, I don't like it, I don't want to do it, then we should remember this example of, you know, Arjuna's wasting time on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And, you know, life is a battle. Life is essentially a battle. It's a struggle. We're struggling against the material energy, the illusory potency of Krishna. You know, we're struggling against the body and mind. We're struggling against other living entities. We're struggling against natural and social forces. We're struggling against birth, diseases, old age, and death, and against... anyway, it's just like never-ending. It's a never-ending struggle. And if we just become hopeless, feeling hopeless about things, just as Arjuna was feeling hopeless, you know, at the start of Bhagavad Gita, then it's like, well, we're just wasting time. It's of no benefit to anyone. You know, so this is one of the core lessons of Bhagavad Gita. It's of no benefit to anyone else, and it's certainly of no benefit to us. It's of no benefit to us. You know, it is not pleasing to Krishna to sit around lamenting and wallowing in self-pity. We need to perform our duty, whatever our duty may be. That's what we need to perform. This is pleasing to Krishna, as you know, I read in last week in chapter 18, where Krishna says, it is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. By worship of the Lord, by following these qualities of work, every man can become perfect. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So this is Krishna's instruction. Perform your duties. Perform your work. This is pleasing to him. So this is karma yoga. So ultimately in bhakti yoga, one performs one's work or one's duty out of love for Krishna. Initially one may be in karma yoga, one may be performing one's duty out of a sense of obligation or responsibility, feeling I must do the right thing, and we may not be motivated out of love for Krishna. But because Krishna's instruction is that one should follow one's duty, or even one may not even be aware that this is Krishna's instruction, by following one's duty, one is pleasing to Krishna. And so this elevates one, and one attains knowledge through this practice by following one's duty. Right? A person who doesn't perform their duty and neglects their duty and doesn't do it is essentially an ignorant person or a problem to society. So, and the next verse, chapter 2, text 32, Krishna says, Yadrichaya Kopapapanam Swagadwaram Swagadwara Mapavritam Sukhina kṣatriya Pārtha Labante Yudamridrisham. O Pārtha, happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. O Pārtha, happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. Swagadwara Mapavritam. Swaga, the heavenly planets or the heavenly lokas. Dwaram is a door, and Apavritam, wide open. So, generally speaking, it's very difficult to get to heaven. And this is very much the goal of the Karma Kanda sections of the Vedic literatures, of the Vedas. There's all kinds of activities one can perform to try and become elevated to heaven. One of them is through conducting different kinds of sacrifices. But in their commentaries, the acharyas explain that, one may get to heaven through performing sacrifices, but this is quite difficult. But here, quite a difficult process, may take several lifetimes. But in this verse, Krishna is saying that, that engaging in this warfare, in this battle, that the doors to heaven are wide open. They're just wide open for Arjuna. And I'll just find how it's said here. Oh, anyway, I'll find a particular thing later on. But anyway, so O Pārtha, happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought. So in this instance, the Pandavas and Arjuna, they haven't sought out this war. They don't want this war. It's been forced upon them. Through the actions of Duryodhana and his brothers, as supported by his father, the blind king Dhritarashtra, that this war has been forced upon them. They've suffered one outrage after another. Many different outrages where, Duryodhana and his cronies attempted to assassinate the Pandavas by trying to burn them alive in the Shalak palace. They tried to drown Bhima. Duryodhana wrapped him in chains and threw him into a river. They tried to poison them, Bhima by feeding him a poisonous cake. They tried to steal their wife, Draupadi, and that now they're attacking with deadly weapons. But in the gambling match, they cheated and conspired to cheat Maharaj Yudhisthira out of the kingdom. And then they humiliated them in so many ways, dragging Draupadi into the gambling hall while she's having a menstrual period and wrapped just in one cloth, and then tried to tear that cloth away from her, to disrobe her, so to show her naked beauty before everyone. And thankfully Krishna protected her and made the cloth. No matter how much they tried to pull the cloth off of her, Krishna extended the cloth. Then they were banished to the forest for 12 years, having to live like mendicants. And then in the last year, they had to live incognito for a year without being discovered. And then finally, after they get through all of that, just by the skin of their teeth, or just by a moment before they were discovered, which would have then resulted in them having to remain in the forest for another 12 years. Then after getting through all this, then they come. Okay, the arrangement was that they would get their half of the kingdom back, but then no, Duryodhana wouldn't give it back, and he was supported by his father Dhritarashtra in this. And then ultimately, as narrated in the Mahabharata, in the book called The Effort, there's like ongoing efforts to try and, prevent this war, where Maharaj Yudhisthira and his brothers and even Krishna are involved in trying to prevent this war from taking place. But Duryodhana would not compromise at all, and his father Dhritarashtra didn't was just beholden to him and wouldn't take the steps that were necessary. So even when Krishna went to Hastinapura, the city of the elephants, to try and negotiate a settlement, to mediate, Duryodhana ultimately said, where Krishna goes to ask for just 5 villages, that the Pandavas are kṣatriyas and they have to administer. So he goes there to ask just for 5 villages, 1 village each, that they can, rule, manage, and protect as kṣatriyas. And Duryodhana's response is, I wouldn't give them as much land as I can pierce with a needle. So this is Duryodhana's ultimate answer, that I am not going to give anything. I'm not going to allow the Pandavas to have anything. And even as Krishna is leaving, Duryodhana tries to restrain him, to capture Krishna. Of course, someone like Duryodhana cannot ever capture Krishna. But, what Krishna, even to reveal his universal form, reveals his universal form to Duryodhana. But still, Duryodhana is not inclined at all to follow, act upon Krishna's attempt to create peace between the two sides of the Kuru dynasty, the cousin brothers of Maharaj Yudhisthira and his 4 brothers, the Pandavas, and the Duryodhana and his brothers. So, this war, as Krishna is saying here, happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought. So Maharaj Yudhisthira and his brothers are completely not at fault in this war. In fact, they are on the side of Dharma, or righteousness, whereas Duryodhana, who's actually the incarnation of Kali, is completely on the side of adharma, sinful activity. And so this description that Krishna gives, that it has come unsought. Yadrichaya, by its own account. Upapanam, arrived at. So this has happened by its own account. Throughout effort of the Pandavas, it's just been thrust upon them. And, this is in chapter 2, text 6, Arjuna says, in his final emotional kind of outburst, and this is at the Tristup meter, 11 syllables per para or quarter verse, which as I've described before, is, and particularly in Bhagavad Gita, is used when there is something in particularly emotional going on. Then Arjuna says, nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. In other words, killing them or being killed by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet, they are now standing before us on the battlefield. This is Arjuna, expressing his kind of frustration at the situation, and we may feel this in our own life. Suddenly situations are thrust upon us, coming completely unsought. We don't want them. They just come upon us, and we have to deal with them. And and yet in this situation, Arjuna was, is describing he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to kill his brothers, but nonetheless, here it is. He has to kill them. And as Krishna is saying here, so happy are the kṣatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought. And why should Arjuna be happy? The sukhinaha, right? Sukha is happiness. So this, and Krishna is actually saying this should be almost like a joyful occasion. This is sometimes Bhaktivedanta, translators as jolly, right? It's like a jolly or happy situation, that this unsought opportunity to engage in a religious war or a dharmic war, righteous war, as the great opportunity for kṣatriya, because the doors to heaven are swung wide open, right? Win or lose. If he wins, then he gets to enjoy a kingdom on earth, and if he loses, then he goes to heaven immediately. As Sridhara Swami says, why should there be hesitation when such great good fortune has come unsolicited? Only those who are greatly fortunate get the opportunity to fight such a battle, which is manifested unsought of its own accord, which is verily a direct gateway to the heavenly spheres. However, another interpretation can be that only those warriors who have the opportunity to fight such a battle are happy, refuting Arjuna's earlier statement in chapter 1, verse 37, of how can one be happy in slaying, meaning slaying the warriors of the opposite side, determined to slay him. So in text 37 in chapter 1, Arjuna said, why should we, O Janadana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sins. And 36, Arjuna says, and how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So here, Krishna is responding to this comment of Arjuna saying, how can I be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Krishna is actually telling him, you should be happy by killing your own kinsmen. You can be happy. Because by having such an opportunity to fight such a battle, the doors to heaven are thrown wide open to you. Ramanuja says, thus when it happens, the war, he and his brothers will be fighting on the side of righteousness, which constitutes the means for acquiring heavenly happiness without obstacles. So no obstacles. Usually it's very hard to get to heaven. But here for Arjuna there will be no obstacles. Such a war can only be fought by the most fortunate of kṣatriyas, and Arjuna should understand his good fortune. So instead of sitting around crying and lamenting about his tough luck and his bad situation, Arjuna should take it as like, this is great fortune, that he's greatly fortunate. And so, we can take it in our own lives, that as we experience difficulties in our life, we can appreciate that actually it's only by the grace of Krishna that I'm receiving this misfortune, and were it not for the grace of Krishna, due to my sinful activities, my past sinful activities and my sinful nature, I should be suffering so much more than what I am experiencing. But Krishna is so kind that he is, minimizing my suffering and just giving me whatever the particular suffering is that I may experience. Or alternatively, one can take the opportunity of experiencing material suffering to then turn closer to Krishna, to take shelter in Krishna, and to philosophically understand the nature of this material world, the nature of this body, that it's temporary, it's false, it's illusory. There is no happiness here. This world is not my home. My home is the spiritual world with Krishna and Goloka Vrindavan, and engaging in loving relationship with Krishna in one or other of the 5 primary rasas or flavors of relationship with Krishna. And so, in whatever our situation is, we can either take the hardship we experience as an obstacle that we have to overcome in our service to our spiritual master and Krishna. We can take it as a blessing that we're only receiving X amount of suffering instead of a much greater amount of suffering which we are due to Krishna being so kind and loving upon his devotees. And we can take it as an opportunity to render service and push through the difficulties and obstacles to please our spiritual master and Krishna. Keshava Kashmiri, he makes almost a humorous point. Normally one achieves well-being after great effort. Others, we have to struggle so hard, right, to experience well-being. Right, to get to a good situation, we usually have to struggle so hard in this material world to acquire wealth, or to have a loving relationship with someone, or to get a good job, get a good education. We have to go through all these austerities and hardships. So normally one achieves well-being after great effort, whereas Arjuna is able to achieve it without any effort. Right? Because this war is unsought. He doesn't even want it, but it's come upon him. It's completely unsought. It is only the most fortunate among kṣatriyas who get such unsolicited opportunities without effort. For a kṣatriya who fights bravely, war brings fame and opulence in this life and the next. By engaging in battle for a righteous cause, exhibiting outstanding valor, one's glory is guaranteed. But what happens to those who are slain? Here Lord Krishna confirms that for the valorous who fall in battle, there is an open door directly to the heavenly planets, the same as for the yogis who fall short of achieving liberation. And this is described in chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna asks what happens to the unsuccessful yogi, and he expresses his doubt that perhaps they're like a cloud, a riven cloud that's sort of separated from the cloud, but not able to go back to their previous lives. In other words, an unsuccessful yogi can't really go back to this material life because they know there's something higher, but have not perfected themselves. So Arjuna asks what happens to them, and Krishna describes, as Kesava Kashmiri here, describes that they go to the heavenly planets. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, even without doing karma yoga, one can attain swaga through the battle without any obstructions. So Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami says, as Supreme Teacher of the world, Lord Krishna condemns the attitude of Arjuna, who said, I do not find any good in this fighting. It will cause perpetual habitation in hell. He says in chapter 1, text 43, O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those who destroy family traditions dwell always in hell. Such statements by Arjuna were due to ignorance only. He wanted to become non-violent in the discharge of his specific duty. So this is ignorance on Arjuna's part. For a kṣatriya to be on the battlefield and to become non-violent is the philosophy of fools. In the Parasara Smriti by Parashara, the great sage and father of Vyasadeva, it is stated, the kṣatriya's duty is to protect the citizens from all kinds of difficulties, and for that reason he has to apply violence in suitable cases for law and order. Therefore he has to conquer the soldiers of inimical kings, and thus with religious principles he should rule over the world. Considering all aspects, Arjuna had no reason to refrain from fighting. If he should conquer his enemies, he would enjoy the kingdom, and if he should die in the battle, he would be elevated to the heavenly planets, whose doors were wide open to him. Fighting would be for his benefit in either case. So next week we'll continue with chapter 2, text 33. So thank you for joining me and studying Bhagavad Gita, the beautiful song of God, of Krishna, or Sri Bhagavan, with me. I hope you find this helpful and perhaps helps to increase your understanding of the beautiful Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much. We'll have a little bit of Kirtan now. Thank you. Haribol. Krishna, Krishna. Although I see you ready to come? Have to wait for the Kirtan leader to arrive.
Haribol. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, everybody. Rest peacefully.